Kahani Bar brings you a cocktail of short stories in English and in Hindustani. I am Payal, and today's story is from Fauji Heart, a collection of short stories set in the army backdrop, written for you by Neerja K. We are back with the second part of the story, Olive Green Heart. In case some of our friends missed the first part, do listen to it before joining us for the second part. So here we go. What are you waiting for? Call him in, growled the colonel. Yes, sir. Captain Ranveer dashed out and returned with the old man. The old man stood unsure of himself under the searching, sharp gaze of the seer. And when his eyes met the military man's gaze, he shuddered. He now believed every word of the captain's warning. He stood there like a statue, not sure what to expect. Captain Ranveer started to talk, but the colonel asked him to leave them alone. The old man wished he had not done that. Now he was alone with the OG monster. Once alone, the CEO addressed the old man. I do not know who you are and why you come here day after day. I'm told that you do not talk to anyone. But my dear friend, you will have to talk to me. It is my business to know everything that happens in and around my area. What information do you want to get across to the enemy? Do you wait for some signal or some opportunity to smuggle weapons? You certainly are not as innocent and harmless as you pretend to be. I give you 30 seconds. The colonel's voice had been steadily increasing in volume and intensity. He continued to bellow. Better start talking, or else I will put you in the quarter guard for the rest of your life. It won't be to feed you free meals, but to crush your old bones into gunpowder with my very own hands. Do you understand? Now the choice is yours, so speak up. Colonel Nair paused for breath and shot a penetrating glare at the old man and waited for a response. None came, not even the twitch of a wrinkle. The colonel started drumming his fingers on the table. The old man's heart started beating to the rhythm of that drumming. Okay, if that is what you want, I will make the arrangements with pleasure. I will have you thrown into the quarter guard and serve you personally. The colonel rose from his chair after this threat. Sab, wait! Please don't put me in the jail. I'm not sure if you will be able to understand me. No one can, started the old man once he found his voice. The stress brought tears to his eyes. I promise not to come from tomorrow if you so wish, though it will be worse than any jail sentence. He still evaded the colonel's glare. Now the seer was sure that there was someone else in and around the village on whose behest the old man was operating. He must be scared to face the consequences. It is beyond your imagination what kind of a jail sentence I'm talking about. Do you know how we deal with traitors? So out with your story, that is, if you have one. I have no story, started the old man in a dreamy voice. I was never good at weaving stories, but my wife was. She could hold your interest for a whole day with the art of her storytelling. Very vivid and descriptive her stories used to be. The whole village used to gather around her to listen to her unending stories. But that was a long, long time ago. Before the old man could continue in his dreamy voice, the CEO's vocal cords resonated with a thunderous outburst. I am not here to admire your wife's talents. My question is simple and straight, and I want a simple and straight answer from you now. Why do you come here every day? The old man took a deep breath. He looked at the CEO and held his eyes for a minute with matching intensity. Then he looked away and asked, Will you believe me if I tell you the truth? The old man was wondering if he stood a chance. That is for me to decide, But trust me, if you're innocent, I can help you. But if you cook up a story, I will not spare you. That is my promise. So try me out and don't test my patience." He wanted to solve this mystery of the Baba once and for all. With misty, tearful eyes, the old man looked at him. "You seem to be a man of your word, so I will tell you my story. I have not told a soul in all these years." The colonel decided to soften his stance a bit and reassure Baba, as his curiosity had piqued and he wanted to open the doors to the mystery of this old man. He could not wait to hear his story. "Go on," he said softly. The old man went to the window and stared across the barbed fence beyond no man's land. His old eyes tried to focus on the distant hamlet. The rain had stopped. The sun had succeeded in tearing open the curtain of clouds, and bits of deep blue sky peeped out from various gaps. It was a great relief, and the gloom seemed to have lifted a bit, but not from the old man's eyes. The old man pointed to a small mound in the enemy territory. A group of children, along with some puppies and kittens, geese and roosters, had come out to play the minute the sun had made an appearance. They were barely visible though, just tiny specks near the distant horizon. Pointing his finger in that direction, the old man spoke. "Over there, somewhere among those children, could be my grandchildren. Or who knows, maybe my great-grandchildren, or maybe not." He spoke as if he was daydreaming. And then there was silence, deep, thick silence. The colonel waited as he could see emotions emerging in every furrow of the old man's face. It seemed that each wrinkle had a story to tell. Or maybe the old man is just a great actor? Who knows? Thought the colonel. He was a hardcore soldier, but very sensitive to human relationships and their sanctity. He waited, giving the old man time to settle down and deal with the storm of feelings that had been stirred up. He concentrated on every twitch of every muscle in that old man's face and his entire body language, as he did not want to make any mistake in his assessment of this shady old man. 2 teardrops found their way from the crinkled corners of the old man's eyes and streaked down his sunken, furrowed cheeks. "Baba, why don't you come and sit down?" the colonel said, still unsure of the turn the investigation would take. But he certainly was not prepared to have an old civilian collapse in his office, especially when he had just taken command. The old man was thankful and took the offer. The colonel poured him a glass of water, which he accepted. He took a long sip. He kept the glass on the table and began to talk. "Saab, my daughter, my only child, is married to her cousin, my wife's brother's son, and lives in that village across the border. I have not seen her for the last 25 years. I do not know how many children or grandchildren she has. There is no way that I can get any news of her. My wife died in the hope of seeing this land unite. I've been waiting for one glimpse of my daughter. It is in this hope that I come every day to this vantage point. Now my eyes are also failing me. I want to see her once before I turn completely blind." Stunned, the colonel sank in his chair. How wrong was he to have a thought of him as a militant informer or having links to the terrorists? Here was a man whose life was torn apart by the political divide. Colonel Nair suddenly saw a father in him, a father like himself, yearning to get a glimpse of his daughter. With no reaction from the OG monster, the old man took another sip of water to soothe his dry throat. "I told you, that no one could help me. I don't even know whether she is dead or alive. He began to sob now. The colonel got up from his chair. He went around, held the old man by his shoulders, gave him a gentle squeeze, and said, "Baba, go home and come back tomorrow. But come early. Let us see what we can do." The old man could not stop sobbing. "Saab, you tell me in the name of Allah, what can I do? I have no news from her ever since her rukhsati. Before that, we were allowed to go across at certain intervals with special permission. But ever since the infiltration started, there is no chance of that. And I have no means to go through the legal grind." The colonel assured him of help and asked him to go home. He could not sleep that night. He had decided to take a chance, and if anything went wrong, it could jeopardize his career. But he had to take this chance, or else the old man would haunt him all his life. Next morning, the old man was outside the colonel's office before he came in. "Come in, Baba," said the CO, walking into his office with Captain Ranbir in tow. "Baba, you can go across to see your daughter." Shaking in his knees, Baba looked at him in disbelief. "Saab, is this some kind of a joke you are playing with this old man? I know I have angered you, and I will not come to bother you. But please, don't play with my emotions. Will you give orders to shoot me as soon as I start walking across?" Captain Beer was also taken aback by the CO's words. He knew he was supposed to be this heartless monster, but this just seemed too sadistic. But he did not dare to open his mouth. "Will you stop blabbering and listen to me carefully? I will let you go across the border at the risk of my honor and my job. I do not know you, but I trust my judgment, and I am sure you will not prove me wrong. A man will accompany you to the line of control, and you will come back at 5:30 p.m. without fail. A man will be waiting for you. Don't be late or early, or our men might shoot you down. Do you understand? Now go and wait outside. Beer, organize." "Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not in a position to say anything, but how can we trust him? He may actually be involved in some terrorist activities. He may not come back, or maybe he was wanting for this chance to go across with some vital information, sir." "Go, do the needful. I know what I'm doing. Have you seen his eyes? Eyes never lie. Learn to read the eyes. It will help you in the long run. And if he does not return, it will be my neck on the block, not yours. Now get going." Captain Beer took the CO's advice, and he did read his eyes, which said, "Go or I will chew you up." But he still took the risk and said, "But sir, do as I say. Now go and make the arrangements. He has to come back before sundown." "That is, if he returns," mumbled Captain Beer under his breath. "Did you say something?" "No, sir. Nothing, sir." "Good." Captain Beer clicked his heels smartly and left. He had highly comforting thoughts floating through his young mind. What if Baba never comes back? That is going to nail the OG monster and take him off my back. Baba was escorted to the crossing point after completing all formalities. Colonel Nair stood in his office looking out of the window. He saw the old man walk across the line. He seemed to have suddenly got the agility and energy of a young man. The distance between the line and Baba increased with every stride, and soon he was barely visible. He was a mere silhouette on the horizon, and the colonel wondered if he was ever going to see him again. He was aware of the risk that he had taken, but he knew that he could not have lived in peace for the rest of his life if the old man's story was true. He had mulled over it all through the night. Eventually, the heart had overruled the head. Everyone went about their business through the day. But there were two restless souls, the colonel and his adjutant. It was an unspoken bet of sorts. Each wanted to win, though for different reasons. The sun was almost near the horizon when the colonel saw a silhouette appear. As the figure came closer against the setting sun, the colonel's heart swelled in his chest. He thought to himself, I knew I couldn't go wrong. He left the window and sat in his chair and lit a cigarette. He held it between his fingers for a while and snuffed it in the ashtray on his table without taking a single puff. This was his way of a quiet celebration. Suddenly, with a knock at his door, the old man walked in. He was radiant, and the special glow in his sunken cheeks already told his story. It was writ large on his face that he had met his daughter and her family. The old man walked in straight and fell at the colonel's feet. Saab, may God bless you with whatever good you wish. May your children thrive on your love. May you live to cherish your children. May you bask in their glory and soak in all their love. You are my savior. I actually have been able to see my child and my two lovely granddaughters. All thanks to you, Saab. I'm indebted to you for life. He went on breathlessly. Captain Beer stood behind him, not believing his eyes. Colonel Nair held Baba by his shoulders and lifted him to his feet. Enough. No need to show so much gratitude. I am also thankful to you for keeping your word. Now go home and relax. He turned abruptly and walked away to get behind his desk. His OG uniform did not allow him to be any more emotional than he had already been. Baba's eyes were wet with tears. He wiped his eyes, wished them both Khuda Hafiz, and took out a small bundle from his pocket and kept it on the table. Some freshly roasted peanuts sent by my granddaughter for you, Saab. The elder one, she's getting married next month, Saab, he said in a voice husky with emotion and left. Next morning, Baba did not visit the post, nor did he come the morning after. A few days went by, followed by a week, but there was still no sign of the old man. By now, Captain Beer was sure that the old man had achieved his aim. Surely his mission had been to carry vital information across, and he had succeeded by fooling the OG monster. Captain Beer was secretly pleased. The colonel got a little worried for Baba as he began to observe a silhouette of a woman on the small mound next to the hamlet across the border day after day. Somehow, he knew that it was Baba's daughter. A runner was sent to the village to inquire about Baba. Soon he came back with the news that shook everybody. Baba had died in his sleep that very night that he had been reunited with his family. This became a turning point in Captain Ranbir's heart. He felt nothing but admiration for his CEO. He was not scared of him anymore. He had seen and felt the OG heart in his chest that was full of compassion and love. He had seen the human being behind the starched and stiff olive green uniform. On that note, Jai Hind to the Indian Army. This is Payal signing off. Take care till I'm back again with another story.